Good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, afternoon, I should say. Oh, Lord. It's afternoon. Good afternoon, you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You can't hear me?
I can hear you. I'm just
El
looking.
Teddy, can you hear? Hold
Yes,
on. Say something. Let me see if I can hear you.
something.
Oh, okay, I got you. All
I
right.
don't see none of these emails. I'm in the email now. I don't see none of them.
You don't see a group labeled questions? Look on the left hand side where it has hold on. We're live, by the way. Um,
We are.
yeah, because I'd already had it live. Look on the where it says categories. You don't see where it says categories?
Oh, I have to scroll down. Mine only had up to sent
Oh, okay. All right, my
when I
bad.
opened it.
Okay. Because I put them all in one group. That said that I labeled it questions to try to make it easier. Look under drafts. It says sent drafts and then questions. You see it?
Oh no, I scrolled down.
Oh, okay. All right, you guys. Sorry, you guys. We welcome you guys. Hey, China Black, how are you? So this we're gonna we're gonna be we're going to come in for an hour with you guys. We wanted to open up the floor. We had a few questions, not a lot, but we had a few questions in our email. I didn't want people to think we were ignoring them, so I wanted to address them. We also had one of our subscribers sent us a couple of links that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm not going to call them by name because I don't want to call people's government name, but if you were the one that sent us the suggestions, thank you so much. And if you want to identify yourself in the chat, you can. Um, but we just thought we would come on in and just open it up. I'll share kind of what's going on with myself and with my school district. El Teddy, you have anything you want to, good morning and or good afternoon, anything you want to say to the folks?
Good morning. How art thou? Well, I'm sorry. Good afternoon. How
I
is
keep saying good morning.
everyone? I hope that you're doing well. Please continue to quarantine yourselves. I do plan to go live sometimes this afternoon on my personal channel, and we'll have a whole, um, session. But yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Hey,
Hey. Before we get started on the questions and opening up any questions in the chat, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys an update as to what's going on with my school district and what we're dealing with over here. Um, Originally, we were supposed to go back to work on Monday, tomorrow, but obviously that's not happening. They've extended us until April the 27th. Maryland, which I'm right here in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Maryland has closed schools for the remainder of the school year. Um, DC public schools and Maryland, the state of Maryland. I'm sorry, did I say Maryland? Virginia has closed schools. Hey, Belize. But the Maryland and the District of Columbia, they're closed until April the 27th, and I'm sure sometime between now and then it'll be reevaluated as to whether we're ready to go back to school or not. If any of you guys live in the area where I live in, I did get a couple of updates with my specific school district. I work in Prince George's County School District, and just to give you guys a couple of quick updates, third quarter is going to end on April the 3rd. So if your students were sent home with any work, we have been instructed to grade whatever we have. And we have to turn our grades in, and the quarter is going to end next week. The school year has not been extended. So the last day of school is still going to be June the 9th, as it originally was supposed to be. Um, and they are in the process of figuring out a way for students, parents, I guess, parents to be able to come and check out a Chromebook from the school. So that's going on across the county. So they will update us, and you can find all that information on the website. But they are figuring out a way so that students can come and get a laptop if they do not have one at home. I do not have any further information on what that's going to look like. We also were told that all of the schools have been deep cleaned, that all of the schools have been cleaned. So that's just an update for this area. I do not have any further updates for DC public schools, but I would definitely keep you guys posted if, for this particular area of any more information I get in reference to this area. I want to send condolences. I got an email yesterday. We have our first coronavirus death in my county. A school counselor / head coach for Northwestern High School passed away yesterday. So sending condolences, and it's real, y'all. Like, it's real. Like, stop. It's real. That hit real close to home. That hit real close to home yesterday. I did not know him personally. However, that high school is like 15 minutes from my parents' house. So, all right. Sorry to throw that, but I just want to get the information that I had in case you guys did not have it. So,
let me say this because I know really B gave information about her thing. I'm not going to give you any information about particular school districts, only because there are literally thousands of school districts, and every school district within has, a lot of times can set their own parameters and rules. It's changing state to state, county by county, and sometimes even within one county, you may have multiple school districts within the county. So I just wanted to, put the disclaimer out there. You need to contact. I know really B put a lot of information out there with regard to her district, but that is specific to her district. Please reach out to your school. To your school sites, check the websites, because every school district may be what's going on in your particular area with the schools that your child may attend could be completely different from that. So please reach out to your school systems so that you know specifically what is going on in your respective areas, because it could be totally a different story. So continue to do that, and be vigilant about that, because you don't want to get caught. Ignorance may not be a excuse for why your child does not receive whatever credits they should be receiving.
Yeah, and I mean, y'all know I normally don't give very specific information about where I work, but I do know that I've been sharing these links on my, with my groups, and I just want to make sure the information is getting out to people in this area. But yeah, definitely, please make sure you are checking. I would even employ the rule. I know your work rule, check your email first thing in the morning, check it before I would check it at least twice a day, because things are moving fast and things are constantly being updated. We got that update yesterday on a Saturday night, like literally. So please. Anyway, with that being said, I wanted to, like I said, have this sort of open. I know a lot is going on. If you guys have anything any questions you had, check in with us and let us know how things are going with you homeschooling. Have any of the resources that we've been sharing, have they been helping? Do you need more specific resources that we can look up for you guys? We had one specific question in the email about Algebra 2. And so I know that I'll let El Teddy speak on that as well. But I know that Khan Academy that I shared earlier in the week is definitely a resource that will help you out. You could again, Khan Academy. They've definitely added a lot of things specifically for what's going on and for homeschooling. They have an actual schedule set up, and they have schedules set up for different grade levels for your students. They have teacher accounts, parent accounts, and all of that. I would suggest you create an account just like we did last week with the Moby, is that you create a teacher account, not a parent account. So you will have access as a teacher. It is free, and they have extended the amount of hours that you can use it per month. For the free tier, you have limited hours, but they have lifted that. So you have unlimited access for right now to Khan Academy, and they have a lot of resources for Algebra 2. A lot of resources. LT, do you have anything to?
I know some math resources that are widely promoted. One I know is called brightstorm.com.
I'll type it in
Uh,
the chat. Brightstorm.com.
Brightstorm, a lot of, especially when you have higher math from algebra, they do algebra 1 and pre-algebra there, but they're specifically like once you get into geometry, algebra 2, pre-cal and up, they have a lot of resources there. They have SAT prep as well and ACT prep there, but I know Brightstorm is one. Math Planet, I know mathplanet.com because
I remember Math Planet. Yeah.
they still do a lot of high school level math for upper middle school, high school generally, but I know Math Planet generally stays like around the geometry, algebra 2 area, algebra 2 trig geometry, not a whole lot of pre-cal, but definitely if you're doing algebra 1, algebra 2 geometry, they can help with that. I know they do SAT, ACT prep as well. And the other one is I said Math Planet, I said Bright. So I know there was a Math Help, mathhelp.com as well. And that's those three websites. I know our math teachers at multiple districts I've been in have sent students to those respective websites for assistance with math, problems, or to get lessons on how to do or work through problems that they may have in math. So I know those three off the top of my head.
Yeah. And like I said, for myself, I honestly, Khan Academy, I know the math teachers at our school, they use it religiously. So I would suggest Khan Academy. I think that would definitely be a great resource. Again, the other thing I would say as well is check with your school district and see, because I know like my school district, we have a sort of like a database where the kids have access as well as the teachers. That's where a lot of the textbooks that are online and a lot of resources that support the textbooks, that's where the kids can log into Khan Academy. And there are a lot of other apps that the school district pays for the paid version of it, and the kids have access to it. They just need their school email password, which all of them know their school email and password, because that's what allows them to get into their grade book and all that other stuff. And the school district may already have resources that they have paid for you to use. So I would also check that as well. So that was one of the questions. That was a very specific question in our email. Belize, I want to address your statement. Your point is valid. Belize said, so what does that mean for students who were behind? This seems really unfavorable to many high school students. At the end of the day, here's the thing. It is. I don't have an easy answer for that. I don't have a Disney answer for that. It is. This whole school year is going to be unfair to everybody. I mean, my students who have been working, my AP kids who have been working all year long for an AP exam that has now been reduced to a 45-minute online exam that they can take at home, which probably ain't going to count for nothing. I mean, I'm just going to be real about it. My IB kids, the IB exams have been, canceled or adjusted. So it's unfair to the kids who are struggling. It's also unfair to the kids who, were in advanced classes as well. Unfortunately, this is unprecedented. And I think everybody is kind of doing the best they can to figure it out as we go. My principal described it Friday. We had a check-in, and my principal said, we're building the plane while we're flying. And unfortunately, that's what we're doing. We're building the plane while we're flying.
The short, quick answer is we just don't know. Yeah. And that's going to also be something that is different state to state, as well as district to district. State to state, first and foremost, because there are requirements that your state Department of Education has to meet in order for diplomas to be accredited, so forth and so on, and for the receiving of credit. So some states, I'm not going to even start to put out there what may happen because we just don't know. No, I mean, you could have everything from them saying, okay, we're going to give everybody credit from this for this year, all the way to saying, okay, if you're not in 12th grade and graduate and you got to redo credit, we just don't know.
Yeah.
We just really don't know. So I would say stay in communication immediately in the immediate future with things like the immediacy of credit for courses right now with your school districts. And I'm certain that as the summer progresses, and certainly before we get into the school year next fall, there will be more things that will be unveiled and more answers to questions within your respective school district. But you're just going to have to be vigilant about getting the information from your respective school districts, because even if we tell you what's going on within our districts that we know about, that may not.
Yeah, I don't have a there's no universal answer.
Yeah, there's no answer. That is a school site. Like, for example, me and Really B had the conversation about a week and a half ago when Donald Trump ceremoniously said he was canceling us statewide assessments across the country. He can't do that. Like, that's not within the realm of or the scope of responsibility that he can do. Individual states can do that between their state department of education, but you understand what I'm saying? There's misinformation a lot of time that's just plastered across the fruited plains, and you got to be specific to your respective area. So I definitely want to push, please contact your school systems, your school districts, so that you can be informed. And as you find out, please let your people in your area know. If we find out things and you would like for us to put it out there, we will, do our best to do that so the information can get out there for your maybe respective school district or your state. But certainly be in contact with your school district and Google your state Department of Education to see if they have any information as well that may help you.
Yeah, and there really is no universal answer, and so I don't want people to think that we're maybe not being as responsive as they want us to be. But at the end of the day, we can't give information that we don't have, and nor do I want to give false information and share information that may not be valid. And at the end of the day, it does change, district to district, state to state. Some districts were better prepared for kids to have at-home learning, and so the expectation of what they are expected to do is higher. Some school districts have one-to-one. There's a district here in one of the Virginia districts.
My old district.
They were one of the first counties in this area to close because they were one-to-one. Every single student had a laptop, so they closed.
One of my old districts.
Before we closed.
One of my old districts, every single high school student has a laptop, and every single high school student in their household has the right to have free internet through Comcast with the school district. So they have told their students, oh no, you still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the expectation is
responsible. And
a lot of the private schools. Different. Yeah, a lot of the private schools, because they have different. So the expectation is different. I know even in DC, they started their district-wide distance learning on virtual learning on last Monday. And so again, the expectation is different. I'm gonna say this, and El Teddy, pull me back if you need to pull me back. You can cut me off if you need to. But I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna get real honest with my parents for a minute. I need y'all to be honest. I need y'all to be honest with where your kids were and what your kids were doing before this happened. If your child was already struggling, or that your child was already failing, I need you to be really honest in what it is that is going on in your household now. Because if you had a child that was failing first quarter, second quarter, and they were on their way to failing third quarter, you already know what was going on. So I don't know what that's going to look like for that child.
And even with that, there's no answer that we can give you for that. And I say that because different districts are different, whereas some school districts is still based on you get one credit for the whole year.
Yeah.
I worked in a district where it was half and half.
Right.
If your child, you got the credit, a half credit for the first 2 quarters or the first semester, that it was solo by itself. It did not count toward the second half. So because all of this happened in the second half, those kids got credit for the first half already, and depending on who you are, they may tell that teacher whatever they did for the first half credit, go ahead and give them credit for the second half and do an override that way. Or they may say we'll let whatever grade they had super, but then again they may not.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying it's really just dependent on you, and that's why we're reiterating you have to talk to your respective school districts and to make sure that you are getting the correct information, because it could be completely different. And there are some school districts that have not shut down. There are some school districts where they're still going to school.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's crazy as hell. Okay.
So,
and the last thing I'm gonna say on this, and this is again, this is the last thing I'm gonna say on this as well. Please make sure you are staying on top of whatever your school district is doing. Like El Teddy said, keep checking. But whatever your school district is doing, please make sure you are staying on top of whatever assignments are being given to your kids, making sure that the assignments are being completed, whether they need to be emailed, uploaded. If you are having issues with internet, if you do have a legitimate situation at home, please reach out to the school, the principal, and email. I know my principal was saying this. Let them know that there's a issue, because again, different school districts are doing different things. So I say all that, I don't want to sound like a broken record, and I know El Teddy has already said it, but I don't think we can stress that enough, because this is all new territory for everybody. So everybody's doing the best that they can with where they are. I have spoken with a friend of mine who has been homeschooling her 3 sons for years. And she was actually going to come on and talk with us this week, but she's also a very talented seamstress. So she's been making masks all week. And so I told her that's way more important than coming on here and talking to us. So we're still trying to schedule that, because she may have some things to share as a parent who's been homeschooling. And she's homeschooled three of her, all of her sons. And they're all different age groups and different people in her community. They have a whole homeschool community that they work with.
And most communities do have a homeschooling community, and they have resources and things like that. Specifically, it's a lot easier for the K through 8s, but specifically when you get 9 through 12, homeschooling and the whole, well, let me just provide assistance to my child at home can kind of get dangerous. And I'm saying that as a professional educator, that can be dangerous when you start going 9 through 12, because there are some things that you just really have to be educated in the field in order to answer properly for students, so that you make sure that you do not do any damage or harm or hurt to that child educationally, because 9 through 12 is college preparedness a lot of times in those courses, and there are some specific ways or alignments or things that must be done so that child is properly prepared to enter college with a base or foundation of information for particular courses. So just definitely, as you get to the higher ones, please reach out. And I'm glad that that email was sent about math help, because I know that's something that we spoke about last week, the high school level math and sciences, and even social studies and English for that matter, being able to find help that you know is good and wholesome, and you got people who know what they're doing.
Exactly. Thank you, Des. Discovering Des, who is a friend of the podcast, who's been on a couple of episodes, and we will continue to tap into his resources. He said that he is going to reach out to one of his former colleagues who has also homeschooled and find out if they have any tips for us. And so again, like I said, I'm going to try to get my friend on here as soon as possible. But again, her making masks right now, I think is more important than talking to us. I told her she committed to make 100 masks for her community. And so I told her to, go go for it. So we're going to reach out to her soon. Let me get into this email. We had a few more questions I wanted us to review. Review, Lord. A few more questions to go over. We didn't have a lot of questions, but I did want to make sure that I didn't want people to feel like we were ignoring them or we weren't addressing it. So here's a question about AP, and I'm definitely going to defer to Dr. L. Teddy on this one because he's been dealing with AP for way longer than I have. But the question, I think the person's question was that they would like to hear more about how to get parents, how can parents advocate for more AP classes at their child's school? It's worded a little funny, but I believe that's what the question is. How can, as a parent, she push for more AP classes at her school?
Well, to answer your questions, normally how it works is, and I'll even go back to when I was in school. I had my band of merry men, my collection of nerds, my gaggle of dweebs and nerds that I hung around with. But we pushed first as students to our administration. Hey, we've taken these high-level courses and we want these courses to offer. And once they saw that there was a number of us, a good amount where they could, where it would be a need for a class, then they would open it. You do need to be an advocate. Parents are the biggest force in the education system. If parents go and they complain enough and they say, this is what I want, this is what needs to happen, you can make more things happen than any teacher, than any school site administrator, than any district official. Parents are the most powerful entity in the whole education process. If you want to do it, you need to go to that school. Your first line of defense is probably your counselor. It's not the registrar. It's the school counselors, because most course selections happen through the school counselors, not necessarily through the registrar. So your school, you need to probably speak with your son or daughter's individual counselor and say, can you give me a list of all of the AP courses that you all offer? Because it may be a situation where it is a part of their subject selection, but maybe it's not offered that year. Maybe they didn't have enough students to facilitate holding a class. Am I breaking up? Oh, God.
You sound better now, but at first I thought it was just my computer. But at first,
okay.
It was, but you're fine now.
So let me reiterate that. Once again, what I said was parents are the most powerful entity in the education process. That's first. Secondly, you need to reach out. I would first reach out to your son or daughter's counselor and ask what AP courses do you all offer. If that school already offers it, it just may be that they didn't have enough students to facilitate a course or a teacher that was dedicated to that course. And so that's why it's not being offered that year. Maybe they don't have a teacher that is certified to teach that course. That could be something as well, because it's not just like you can go to school and say, oh, I want my child to have this AP course, but you want to make sure that if they are offering that AP course, that child is getting the best instruction that they can, that you do have someone who does know what they're doing and they're certified to teach it. The other part about it is this: if they do not offer it, what are your options? Can they open a class at the school? I've seen some schools where they may not offer that school, and they had to literally bus a child because a parent wanted it to a neighboring school that offered that course. So that may be an option that you have as well. Other options that people have, if it's just not feasible at all at your school or in your district, you definitely want to go and complain and raise holy hell at your school districts. And at the school district meeting, they always have public meetings where you can go and you can put your name on the agenda, and they will let you go before the school board and speak about whatever issues you may be having. Another issue you want to maybe look at into is your community college. Most community college has And some universities, many universities have a part of that community college or university that services high school students, where those high school students can come there and take a course. Not dual enrollment. Dual enrollment is something different, but it's where high school students can come there and they can get take courses and get college credit for it outside of the dual enrollment program, but they can get coursework and education, or even sometimes credit in specific subject matters and subject areas. So that's what I would tell you to answer your question. But what you have to do is you have to become an advocate. Definitely you want the parents to be raising all kinds of holy hell, and you also want the children involved. It helps if it's not just you individually. What helped me, and I'll go back to that story when I was in high school, because there was a group of us, there was about 12 of us that would go to administration. We need to meet with y'all. Y'all need to have us in these courses. We would go to our counselors. We would have our parents come out. And like I said, there's nothing more powerful than when a parent comes and says, listen, I'm not going to let this go until I get some justice. And then when they tell you no, while you're walking out of the building, you call in that region office. Hey, can I speak to regional superintendent so-and-so or regional director so-and-so? Because I need to know why my child is not able to be offered X class. And you start it that way. When you call the region and then that regional director begins to call that principal, things happen and things move. So those are just to answer your questions. But, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, let's be a realist too. I've seen some parents try to advocate for their son or daughter to be in this here AP class, and your son or daughter is making B's and C's in their regular and advanced class. And just to be honest with you, B's and C's will not cut it in a even if you have an honors or an advanced class. A B and a C average student cannot make it in an AP course. A lot of A students, truthfully, if I'm just being honest with you, cannot make it in an AP course. So please be honest with yourself and your child as well, and make sure that they are ready and they can tackle what that involves. Also too, and I know I've been long on this, but this is kind of
like I said, you're the expert on it.
Also too, what some students make the mistake of doing is they have too many AP courses. They just want the AP course, or their parents just want them in the AP class for the GPA booster, because most districts offer extra points or extra point or points for an AP class.
Yeah, get that
but negating the fact or neglecting the fact that that child is going to have an extraordinary amount of workload incorporated with just one AP course. And I know parents who sign their kids up for 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
And that's just not feasible. And then they get upset with the teacher because they say, why my child have all of this work? Well, just one AP course is an extraordinary amount of workload. And then you then want to go and complain, well, my child has 4 AP classes. Why they up all night? Because that's what the course calls for.
Yeah.
So just be careful in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. Again, the courses are there for that reason, but please be careful and make sure that, like you say, you know what you're signing your child up for, what the level of rigor is, what the expectation is. And please remember that the expectation is that you are taking the exam. And that you are, the intention is to, of course, get a 5 on the exam. But the expectation is that you are taking the exam, not just to get a weighted GPA. So everything that El Teddy said, I was sort of ditto in my county. I know we've been trying to get a particular AP class, and it's really going to come down to numbers. It's going to come down to level of interest. I mean, at the end of the day, a school, especially on a public school level, cannot justify a class with only 5 or 6 kids in it. I mean, they just can't justify that they just can't. Not on not across the board. So with that being said, I ditto everything that you just said. But I definitely want to caution parents, just be careful about what you're asking for. It's not just for show. It's a legitimate, it is a college level class. And think about when you were in college, how many classes did you take per a day, you know. So just make sure you know what you're signing your kids up for. All right. The last question we sort of had, I think we've sort of addressed it, but if you want to touch on it again, El Teddy, we can. The question was dealing with 504s. I'm gonna read you the email. I'm not gonna read the person's name, but I'll read the email out loud so that you kind of understand what the person is asking about. My son has been on a 504 and I feel like I failed him. I feel like I didn't feel with him learning consequences for his action. I didn't feel with him. Okay, I'm just reading it as it is, y'all. He was diagnosed with ADHD at age 5. I feel like it helped him in some instances, but in other instances, it let him get away with way too much. He just turned 17 right before Christmas, and he still doesn't believe in consequences. That non-belief ended up causing problems outside of school, and he is currently on probation. Well, juvenile probation. No matter what I have taught him or informed him about how the world works, he doesn't pay attention to it because the powers that be have not proven it to him to be true because of how the plan allows kids to get away with certain things. He is 17 now and legally an adult, so it will be hard. It will be a hard reality for him from now on. I feel like the longer I allowed him to be on a 504, it had a part in hiding reality from him. I can discuss it more in depth. Okay, blah, blah. Have either of you taught a child on a 504 plan? So the first question is yes, both of us have. But getting into the deeper issue or the deeper concern, I think this parent's concern was about feeling like that the 504 failed her child from a disciplinary aspect. I have some thoughts, but I'll let El Teddy. I'll let you start.
It's so hard to make generalizations about 504s because even more so than an IEP, 504s are way more in depth in terms of being specific to whatever it is that child needs in order to accommodate them. Now, 504 generally means that child cognitively is normal. There's nothing cognitively in terms of brain function and how they learn, or their ability to learn, I should say, that is different from a normal child. That it just means that in more cases than not, there's some physical accommodation that needs to be made. Sometimes it does. There is a neurological or psychological accommodation that needs to be made, but cognitively the child can function. So that's why I say with regard, now if your child was on the more behavioral side of the 504, then certainly you as a parent certainly should be involved with being an advocate for that child, making sure that the accommodations are being met. I wish Discovering Des was on here because he could probably tell you more than I can, but definitely there should be logs. I know when I had students that had a 504 or IEP, I had an accommodation log. That student had to ask for that. Well, in some 504 cases, the student had to ask for the accommodations. In other cases, I had to offer the accommodation to the child, even whether or not they asked. And even with that, there was a log that I would have for that, and the child would sign, and I would sign. We would date it and time it. So there was always a log as to when that child was provided with whatever accommodations that they have. That is something that I know in every district I've ever worked with, we had to have and produce upon request. And so I without knowing more information, I will say that to you that there should be some accountability with regard to the services being offered with regard to 504.
So I'm going to say this. I'm going to speak in, like El Teddy just said, I'm going to speak in general terms. I know how a 504 is supposed to work. I cannot speak to this parent's specific experience, but at the end of the day, and we talked about this when we were talking about disabilities and consequences and stuff before. At the end of the day, a child's punishment when they're on, whether it's an IEP or a 504, The question is always, was this behavior a manifestation of their disability? If the answer to that question is yes, then no, they're not going to punish a child for behavior that they can't control. If you're saying that my child, I'm just going to use an example. If you're saying that your child has Tourette syndrome, right? And they cussed out a teacher. If the language that they used was because they couldn't control, because of, I'm just using a generalization, you guys, of Tourette's, then no, why would you suspend a child for something they can't control? If, so I can't speak specifically to that parent's experience. But what I will say is it does seem like special education students get away with certain things or what have you. But again, is it a manifestation of their disability? Because how do you hold someone accountable for something that they can't control? Now, fast forward to how that has affected in the long run. Again, and I'm not tapping this particular parent's hand. I'm saying in general, I'm tapping hands from my experience in dealing with, and I've been on both sides of special education. I've been an advocate for parents, and I've been in the classroom dealing with it. And I've also been on an administrative level and had to, enforce consequences. The consequences don't stop at school. What is the consequence at home for the behavior? What is going on, extending it into, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that a lot of times parents, my experience, parents aren't always working with us. And so then when the behavior starts manifesting itself at home, then there's that disconnect. That's been my experience. Again, not speaking specifically to that letter. What I say to parents moving forward, if you have a child that has been diagnosed with a disability, be careful that you are not allowing bad behavior because of the disability. Bad behavior and a disability are two different things. And if you need to be clear on, read up on your child's disability, stay in contact with the school and understand how that looks on a school level, how that looks at home. I've had situations where parents defend the behavior, and then when they go home and do it, then my child's out of control. Okay, well, they were doing it at school, and you told the teacher they were wrong. So you got to, we have to figure out a way. We have to be a team and work together. As far as the fast forward to when they're 17, yeah, you're right. It's kind of hard. I mean, he's 17 now. It's kind of hard, So again, I can't speak to that parent's specific experience without really talking more to that parent. But I'm saying in general and what I've dealt with, it's not, your child having a disability is not equal to your child having bad behavior. One does not equal the other. And you as a parent have to know your child and understand your child's behavior and what that looks like at home as well as in school. Yes, Abby says consequences at home, be a chop to the throat. Yes, Abby. Yes. Abby is always letting us know. And let me say, Abby had a child with an IEP, so she's speaking from her experience as a parent. China Black said, my sister has an ADHD son. She lets him get away with everything he does, not act out with me because he knows better. Exactly. And that's actually one of the criteria that we look at when we're testing a child for special education. Is the behavior exhibited everywhere? If it's only something that we see at school, then it's not a true disability, because if they know how to act at home and then they go to school and they act a fool, that's part of what we look at. Those are the questions that are asked. That's the documentation that they look at. And so if your nephew and knows that with you there are consequences to his behavior and he know how to act with you, but then when he's in a different environment and there's no consequence for the behavior, he's acted a different way, then the question has to be, does his disability, is this connected to his behavior? That's not to say he doesn't have a disability. That's to say, is the disability connected to the behavior? Again, those are general statements. I can't speak to everybody's individual situation, but I can speak to my experience that a lot of times parents, a lot of times behavior is excused. I'm just gonna leave it at that. So Um, we have two more things from the mail, the inbox from the mail I wanted to share with you guys, and then we are pretty much done with our inbox. This is a few weeks ago, we asked you guys to share with us when we were doing our unsung heroes. We asked you guys to share some unsung heroes with us. So I am going to, we did have someone send an unsung hero with us to our email. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to share it with you guys. I don't want to share the person's name. I don't want to put their name out there. So hold on, let me do the share screen. Okay. Can you see me? Can you see it, El Teddy? Can you see the screen? Okay. So Dr. Ladonis James, Bowie State College, was Bowie State College president. So it says here, Dr. James held the title of principal until 1938. In that year, the school became Maryland Teachers College, and his title changed to president. Bowie State University is an outgrowth of a school opened in Baltimore, Maryland. It is I'm paraphrasing, y'all. I'm not going, but it is an HBCU. So I'm thinking that the person who sent this to us, maybe they're a graduate and they're proud of their school. Bowie State has become a comprehensive university with more than 5,600 diverse students, offering 22 undergraduate majors, 38 master's, doctoral, and advanced certification programs. Under Dr. James's tutelage, the school began a 2-year professional curriculum in teacher education in 1925, which expanded in 1931, and once again expanded in 1935 to a full 4-year program. Dr. James was the first and oldest son of Mary and William James, and his middle daughter became the first first female supervisor of Baltimore County Schools for Colored Children. ... Dr. James was her uncle. So she was a little biased, but nonetheless, an unsung hero, somebody that I wasn't familiar with because I have not done, wasn't familiar with him, but Bowie State is a school in this area. So definitely want to acknowledge the unsung hero there. El Teddy, you want to speak to the unsung hero? Familiar with Dr. James?
I was not. I'm not gonna let you get away with butchering that man's first name.
What I say?
Anyway, I don't know what you said. Leonidas or Leonidas?
I said Ladonis. That's all right. I said Ladonis. What's his first name?
Leonidas.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I did mess it up, didn't I? Okay. You know, I think I slept through phonics class. Okay, I'm an educator, but I think I slept through phonics.
You would be that student that I would have.
Name.
Listen, as an English teacher, you would be that student that I would have stand up next to your desk. I would stand next to you. Okay, no, because I'm here to support. I would stand next to you, and you know what I do? I take my hand and I put it on their shoulder, and I say, you know what? Say it with me. And we're standing right next to each other because I say, I don't want you to feel left out. I don't want you to feel like you are on this island and I'm not supporting you. We're going to stick together.
Felice said chopped and screwed. Yes.
Right. Listen, and so we would say it together over and over, and it was just so bad. The whole class would then start to join in with us and say it, and then everybody saying it the right way.
Yes, I will butcher. Look, and I apologize on the front end because, honey, I will butcher a name. I butcher my students' names all the time, and I tell them, look, politely correct me because I don't mean no harm. I don't know what it is that anyway. I think we're not gonna get into my disability. Okay, so the last two things I wanted to share with you guys, someone did send us a couple of resources that I would like to drop into the chat and share with you guys. Hold on, let me stop the screen share. Let me stop the screen share. Okay. And let me drop those links in for you guys. So we have, and again, I don't want to say the person's name because I don't want to tell, I don't want to put anybody on blast if you didn't want us to share your name, but thank you for the contribution. If you hear it, if you are in the room, thank you for the contribution. The first one is and these are all free resources for parents and teachers as well. And again, we are all about sharing resources, especially at this time right now. So here's a link. It's for kids activities, and this is for younger kids. And this they're right now they're offering free subscriptions to their services. You guys y'all better take advantage of all this free stuff people are giving y'all for free that they're gonna be charging you for in 6 months. Y'all better go on and sign up for all this free stuff and get these good resources that's dropping in your inbox. I'm gonna tell you, I've been looking for stuff that they want me to pay for it. I've been getting some free stuff too, child. Here's another link as well with more free resources for parents as well as teachers. You guys, please make sure you are checking up on these resources. They are available to us, and I want to just pass that on to you guys. I will continue to bring you resources as this week goes on. Thanks for the resource I'm passing them. Okay, definitely pass them. Look, you guys, feel free to drop this link wherever you feel like anybody can use the link. In any of our former shows this week, we looked at Kahoot. We actually played Kahoot. We had fun with that. We looked at Khan Academy. El Teddy shared with us Moby. What's it? Is Moby
Max.
Moby Max. Thank you. And I actually had somebody in one of my chats this week on my personal channel actually dropped in the chat and said that they've been using it with their kids all week.
The Moby Max?
Yeah. I don't remember.
It helps.
It dropped down in my chat and said that they've been using it.
It's a one-stop shop for all of those core courses, English, math, science, studies. Go ahead, get some.
Exactly. So, and again, I'm telling y'all, take advantage of the free resources, because I'm telling you now, in 6 months, it ain't gonna be free no more. So go and get in where you get in and get what you can get and get out. There's a lot of free stuff out there. Let me tell you, another great resource. Now, this one isn't free, but they are offering a lot of free activities right now, again, because of what's going on. This is one of my go-tos as a teacher. I do not believe in reinventing the wheel, and this is one of my favorite resources that I go to. teacherspayteachers.com. And this is a website where teachers can upload resources that they've created, curriculum, activities, PowerPoints, all of that stuff. They can upload it there, and teachers, it's like a database, and we pay for access to those resources. And the resources range from 50 cents on up to a couple of $100, depending on what it is you're looking for. Because some teachers have uploaded full year curriculums from the first day of school to the last day of school. So that's the stuff that's on the high end. But they have worksheets for 50 cents, $1, $1.50. And again, you can just type in, you go to the website and you can just type in what it is you're looking for, and the resources will be there for you. And they have opened up some free resources for us again for right now. I'm telling you, that's my go-to, honey. I don't reinvent the wheel.
So if you want some free resources, let me know. Send us an email with what you need. I probably can get you, if you just need worksheets or resources and stuff like that, that you can print out and stuff like that, or little quizzes, let me know. And I have access to a lot of stuff that you can get for free too, that I can email back to you through our email address as well.
Okay, so we hold tight to our 1 hour. We 55 in. Are there any more questions from the chat? Anything anybody wants to share? Anything they want us to quickly speak on? Please, the email address is scrolling at the bottom. Please email us and let us know. Definitely let us know if you have some success stories you want to share with us. I would love, like that subscriber that let us know that they were using Moby Max and it's been working for them. Please let us know if you're using any of these resources and how we can further help you guys. She gonna have a meltdown. She has 10 year-old with ADHD, and she struggles to get her focus. I must have missed the beginning of that.
But Belize.
Oh, Belize, your sister. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Belize tell us about her sister-in-law.
Yeah, definitely. All of those online programs are designed for those kids that can't focus, that need the bells and whistles and the pretty colors and the stuff popping out at them so that it can get them to focus, and so that it can, for a lot of those students who have ADHD or who have issues along the autism spectrum and different things like that, where they just can't focus on a teacher, they do quite well with more of the technology stuff where they can look at different things. They have a little cartoon here, a little thing talking to them there, a little thing they can draw, and different things like that, or little manipulatives that they can have on the computer, little puzzles and manipulatives that they can do on the computer so that they can keep their mind focused. So it is designed that way. So please go and look at those resources because they have been tested and so forth for that purpose.
To answer your question, yes, BTV, his question was, do these resources go towards a real credit for school? These are resources to help parents who are now have found themselves in instant teacher mode. These are for parents or caregivers who are with their students and they ain't been in school in 10, 15, 20 years. And now they're trying to help figure out not only what to do with their kids for those 8 hours, but how do I help them do the work that's assigned? I'm going to refer back to what we were saying at the beginning of this episode in reference to that. For any parent, any parent or caretaker right now, please make sure you are staying in constant contact with your school district in reference to credit, what's going to happen with credit, and any type of assignments that your students are expected to complete. These resources have nothing to do with getting your child credit. They are just to help your child understand the work and not get behind while we're out of school for the next however many, whether it's the rest of the school year or not. It's just a resource. So no, it's not. It has nothing to do with getting them credit. No, nothing like that. Thank you, Abby. She says she's been passing the information on. As always, El Teddy, I'll let you have the last word because I know
you never let me have the last word. You always come after me and have a whole 30-second spiel, and that's okay. I'm all right with that.
You have the last word, sir.
Let the chat tell you. They'll tell you. I ain't lying. They know I ain't lying. Anyway, y'all, it's always great to come and provide you with these resources. But like I said, I don't feel like you all are using us enough. You all are like the students sometimes. The students have us as teachers as resources, and they don't use us enough, and they will go and struggle and never ask a question that they need answered. And I think sometimes you all do that as well. If we don't have the answer, we have almost limitless resources within the education field where we can get you an answer that you may need. So please ask the specific questions, and then we can help, steer you in the right direction and or guide you so that you can, like with the Algebra 2 question. Here's some resources right here, right away. And those 3 I knew off the top of my head from having dealt with that in school. The parent asked about getting more AP courses, and I was able to give her, step by step, contact this person first, then that person, then that person. But certainly you need to ask those questions because we're here for that purpose. So please continue to do that, and we'll be here. That's all.
All right, you guys. So look for us throughout the week. We'll be dropping some more resources. I have a few off the top of my head that I want to share with you guys. And I know El Teddy, has some things to share as well. El Teddy said he'll be going live on his personal channel later on today. So y'all know the notifications are tripping. So be on the lookout for those notifications. I'm going to give you my sister-in-law's email because I can't help her. I ain't dealing with you, police. Okay, thank you, boo. Any suggestions on managing 3 children earning all different stages, 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 8-year-old? Ooh. A 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and an 8-year-old. My suggestion is prayer. I don't know. No, seriously. I'm going to direct you to Khan Academy, and I'm going to tell you why. Khan Academy has a schedule set up for every grade level from pre-K through high school. And even if you don't use every single resource that they have given you, they've given you a schedule, what you can do with your kids. And the schedule starts at like 8 o'clock in the morning and it goes all the way to like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I would definitely start there. I would look at for your elementary school kids, I would get them on Moby Max because, like El Teddy said, it sort of does a lot. It does most of the work for you. I would get them, and I know you may not have enough. You may not have enough electronic devices. Maybe not. I'm not speaking for you, but I would definitely get them set up on that. The 2-year-old, I got nothing. I can reach out to some friends of mine who are in early childhood, but for a 2-year-old, I got nothing. But I would definitely reach out to send me your email us so I can respond back to you. But I will reach out to some friends of mine who are in early education.
BB Nice, I'm very familiar. And hi to you. Familiar with iReady. We actually started iReady back in my
hey, BB Nice.
Way back in must have been like 2008 or 9 with iReady. I think it was like 2009. I know that the district has moved from iReady because of some deficiencies that we found in the program as English teachers, but I'm quite familiar with iReady, and it is a program that's supposed to be a remediation program in certain subject areas, specifically math and English, and it specifically was used more so with English. In our district, I was familiar with it. It was a remediation program to kind of get kids to grade level. But they kind of, at some point, they reduced it to just the really, really, really lowest classes. Not the special ed classes, but the low level, level 1 classes. And also it was a part of the ELL program as well. So, but I haven't used it in about, I know maybe about 4 or 5 years. It's been about 4 or 5 years since I've used iReady.
Okay. Lord, listen, I got to stand in the gap. I remember having 4 babies under the age of 8. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. That's all I can say about that. That's why I said I can pray for you, but definitely I will reach out. Like I said, I would, the early education resources, we've dropped a few of those, and I definitely will ask. I have a few friends who are in early education who work at daycares and stuff like that. I know I've been looking for some stuff for my nephew because my nephew is, he's 2.5. He's actually very, very smart, and he's sort of advanced. And I've been talking to my sister about not letting him fall by the wayside. He is doing really well with his letters and with his numbers, and with he's starting to get into sounds, and he is starting to identify sight words. And so I really, he's on his way to reading. And so I really, really, really don't want to see him lose that. So I've been working with my sister and finding some resources for her. So I'll definitely pass that on when I get more concrete. Right now, I've just been, we just been doing stuff. Like I bought a Play-Doh set for him, which my sister, gave me the side eye for, but I bought the letter molds. And so they've been working with him with creating manipulatives and creating the letters and helping him like spell his name and, playing around with the letters with the Play-Doh. So little things like that I've been doing. I mean, I've been trying to come up with, and then he had a couple of books that have, his letters. And also there are so many games. I don't know if he has a tablet or a phone. There are so many games that help with sight words and sounds and things like that that we've been playing with on his tablet. He has a tablet because he's spoiled like that. But anyway, you need something for school. Okay, Abby. Well, I'll definitely, like I said, I'll reach out to some of my friends who are in early education, and we'll come back. Maybe next week we can do a segment on that next week. Give me a few days to get in touch with people and get these resources together for you guys, and maybe next week's show is what we can that can be one of the topics we discuss next week. Okay. Well, you guys, it's been an hour. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us and coming through. I appreciate you. Again, please make sure ABC Mouse website is currently free. Okay, Des, double check the name of it and email it to me so we can share it next week. Or maybe that could be one of the resources I share this week. So double check and make sure that's the name of it, and then we can drop that either one day this week or we'll drop it on the show next week. Thanks, Des. And if anybody else find any, let me know. All right, you guys. I want to thank everybody, and I apologize. I did do what El Teddy said I do. I'm going to shut up. You got the last word.
You do it every time.
Shut up. I'm shutting up. Go ahead.
Y'all be safe. Stay safe. Keep your kids safe. We'll get through this, but definitely be vigilant, be safe, and keep your kids safe and your family members safe. Don't take for granted anything. It's not worth it. It's really, really, really not worth it. So that's all I got, and we'll be out. And look at you. You're dying to say something. Go ahead. Get it out. Hey, Jonathan, what's good, Fi? Go ahead. Get it out your system.
Jonathan, we'll address that next time.
You can't even keep yourself. You can't even keep it to yourself. That's a mess.
It's Jonathan's fault. He came in at the end with some good stuff for us to talk about. It's not my fault. It's Jonathan's fault. But let me research that, Jonathan, and then we'll speak on it. Okay, babe? All right, y'all. I'm hitting the button.